taxes, open borders.
What's up, folks? I'm going to start this around 9:15. I'm going to invite some folks.
President Biden continued to slam the administration.
Got Mark Levin on in the background.
He says the president doesn't take it seriously.
Y'all like sharing this?
To recognize the reality we're living through. At a time when almost 1,000 Americans a day are dying every single day.
1,000 Americans are dying every single day.
And every family.
As opposed to 1,000 Americans are dying a day every single week?
Patriotic thing to do.
What? I don't know, Joe. I don't know, Joe. Is it? I wonder if he misread that off the teleprompter or what that was.
Listen and download the Fox News Hourly Update on your time.
Let's go invite some people.
Anytime you want it. Listen and download now by going to
foxnewspodcasts.com.
This election day.
Start around
Fox News Radio for complete coverage.
9:15.
The campaign with Fred Bear and Verino and Steyerwolf. I'll tell you what. Followed by live Democracy 2020 coverage.
Oh, man. Oh, I tried a recipe regarding venison. And I don't know, so y'all can see this. Don't worry, that green stuff is dill pickles. Venison and pickles. Don't worry, that pan's cool now. And I like it. Got some venison and pickles. What I did is first I boiled it a little bit and get some of the gamey stuff out of it. Then I dumped the water into a little bowl that I'll get rid of in the trash day. And then I poured some pickle juice into this pan and put that on the wood burning stove and let it set for about 10-15 minutes. That's no red in here.
Finding out where their supporters are and then make sure they're bringing to the polls.
More Democrats, however,
have
ballots than Republicans. More than 1 million independents have voted early or by mail as well. In Broward County, Florida, Evan Brown, Fox News.
Dozens arrested in what's being called the largest elder fraud case in the country.
The U.S. Attorney's Office in Minnesota announcing indictments of 16 people in an FBI sting over an alleged nationwide telemarketing
That's a Cutco knife, probably the best knife in the world.
Elderly people out of hundreds of millions of dollars. Prosecutors say that call centers, a handful of which in the Twin Cities, induced victims making large or repeat payments.
Several in Arkansas too, even though we're supposed to be the most pro-life state in the nation. What we have is a cowardly rhino for a governor who sixes Arkansas Health Department on mom and pop stores not obeying his COVID edicts, but he'll give the abortion clinic a pass. And then we have frauds like Bishop Anthony Taylor who pretend to support the pro-life movement but actually don't.
Limited to 10 people from a maximum of 2 households. Restaurants, bars, theaters, cinemas, pools, and gyms will be shut and concerts canceled. People will be asked to not travel for private, non-essential reasons, and overnight stays in hotels will be available only for necessary business.
I'm eating up venison so I can make some room in my freezer for some more. I plan to go hunting sometime later this year. Don't mind if I need to go out and reshoot. Hey, Stacy. Oh, if y'all want to go on camera, some people, it gives me the option to bring them on camera, and some people it doesn't. I don't know why, but.
Saturday, partly sunny and a little milder, high 63. Sunday and Monday, mostly sunny.
I'm taking kind of a different approach here to this.
Tuesday,
I try to do these on Thursdays, and usually every Thursday there was a political event going on. So I'm like, no, I can't do that.
On News Radio 102.9 KARN. What did they think it was in the first place? How dumb are these people? Honestly, the U.S. Attorney in Connecticut is investigating you at the request of the Attorney General of the United States. What did you think it was? Everybody was going to order Chinese food at the end, and it was going to get some pizzas for everybody. Hey, here's the term.
There, I just posted some links there. They actually had the hearings regarding the censorship done by Twitter and Facebook and Google today. So I posted a bunch of alternative links that I have. So if you can't, so in case if Facebook censors this, I'm screwed. I have a YouTube account. I just posted a link to my YouTube account.
Coming up for you this hour, a little bit later on in the hour, we'll take your calls at 855.
I'll listen to Ben Shapiro for a little bit.
236-32-28. But I think that it's worthwhile for us to go through Joe Biden's history. Since people are voting against Trump more than for Biden, let's talk about Joe Biden. Let's begin with the fact that he's been wrong on every single foreign policy issue of his entire career. In 2015, Joe Biden was one of the chief cheerleaders for the garbage Iran deal that gave Iran a path to a nuclear bomb, as well as a bevy of cash.
Well, I can drink up my paper.
Literally nothing. Just Iran saying, "Oh, we won't develop anything for a few years."
I was just I didn't even put any salt on this or pepper. I just, like I said, I boiled it for a few minutes to kind of get the gamey, filmy stuff out of it. I don't know, when I boil it, that's what I do. I boil it for about 5-10 minutes. You get kind of you'll see kind of this frothy brown stuff that comes out, and I pour it. I pour it into a bowl, and then I pour some into a sink, and then you can see some of the little frothy brown stuff there at the bottom. That's just kind of I don't know what you call it, the gamey part of the meat. Usually when I do that, it makes the meat a lot better.
That Joe Biden took the bizarre step of opposing the killing of Qasem Soleimani.
Usually I just put salt and pepper, and then
of the Iranian government. He said no American will mourn Qasem Soleimani's passing.
Oh yeah, we got to constantly change accounts too, because Facebook and Twitter are still censoring us.
None of this negates the fact that it's a hugely escalatory move in an already dangerous region. The administration's statement says its goal is to deter future attacks by Iran. This action will.
I'm gonna switch off Ben.
President Trump just tossed a stick of
see who else is in here.
He owes the American people an explanation.
Oh, it's Larry Elder. Oh, it's that. I'm going to see about the message radio.
6 days left to go. I understand that there are people in America, half the country, that is put off by President Trump's style.
This stupid radio. Ah, screw it. Radio's got a bunch of static on it. Oh, Brad. Let me see here. Put some more comments here. As I posted before, if I have multiple social media accounts, the alternatives to the mainstream media, one is called YouTube, also known as Utah Gun Exchange. They're an alternative to YouTube. There may be some others, but they're the ones that I picked. I did post my YouTube channel. I have my Twitter Kenny W_NLR, Parlor profile keeparkansaslegal, Gab.com keep AR legal. And of course, I have my Fundly account. And Fundly is how I do donations. So I can keep doing these while possibly get some better equipment. I'm trying to save up for a Mevo camera, but I do have some bills that I do have to pay. Go away. I'm going to post the Mevo the Fundly link on its own. I have a question for anybody, and I mean anybody. This should be asked by every leftist, and especially these senators that are keep claiming this Russian collusion probe regarding Hunter Biden's laptop. Can somebody please tell me when the Hunter Biden laptop story was debunked and by who? Hey, Brian, because I really want to know that. I seriously want to know who has done that, because they're all claiming that it has been debunked. We'll leave a little bit of background music here, just a little bit. maybe not from them. I'm sorry. I'm just not quite in the AC/DC. They were a little bit before my time, and they are kind of satanic. So, oh, here's my mask. So y'all put on your mask so you don't get the COVID, the Wuhan flu, the commie cough, the socialist sniffles, the controlla virus. Hey, Travis. I did post some events there. I'll talk about them in a little bit, but I have a question, and I kind of wanted to make this for any leftists because I know there are a few leftists that occasionally watch my page. Can someone please tell me, and I think people need to ask this, when was the Hunter Biden story, laptop story, debunked? Because here's what leftists have been doing, and they do this almost every time. Every time there's some really bad story that really just damages them, they try to say debunked conspiracy theory. And they do that with everything. They've done it with Joe Biden's rape accusations against, I believe her name is Tara Reid. There, Carrie. Oh, yeah, so that's kind of the opposite. Exactly, but I think they need to be asked that. I think they all need to be asked that. When did the Hunter Biden laptop story get debunked? And who did it? I believe that some of the media, that what they did is they asked the opinion of some former Trump, former FBI folks, and a few of them may have worked for Trump. But none of them have actually debunked the story and said, this is a fake. None of them have ever actually done it. None of them said, nope, this was from Russia. I think at first they tried to claim that the laptop was not Hunter's, and then that didn't work because the attorney called for it, and there's, I think, receipts and everything else. There's pictures of Hunter Biden on the laptop. And there's lots of information, so that didn't work. And now they're saying that somehow this is some kind of Russian collusion story. That maybe the Russians somehow stole Hunter's laptop or damaged it with water and somehow made him forget his receipt or something. I don't know. Yeah, so the FBI sat on it for, gosh, what was it, like a year? They've been sitting on this forever. And then the Trump campaign didn't plan this. If the Russians planned this, they must have had really good timing, somehow convince Hunter Biden to leave his laptop and not pay for it or delete it. So you figure out how the Russians did that. I don't know if they used mind control or what. Of course, I wouldn't need to do that much. I guess maybe they could say the Russians poisoned his crack. There's the interview with Bobulinski, or I think that's his name. Let me see if I can watch this. No, they won't let me watch myself. That's okay. I can just do get the old refresh button. So I'm kind of, what I do is I have my laptop back here, so I have a YouTube. I'm broadcasting this on YouTube as well. I posted my YouTube page. Yes, you should be allowed to share this live, Bria. Unless Lord Zuckerberg has blocked it. I've tried to give some time so notifications can get on. Oh, this is a stupid ad here. This is an ad from Senator Joyce Elliott. She somehow thinks that she should be elected to Congress because she dealt with teenagers.
But my students will tell you, as long as you've done your homework, we're fine. But Frenchie has not done his homework.
Done his homework? What are you talking about? He's been back here. He's opposed Nancy Pelosi. That's the homework we elected him to do. You've been trying to get illegals in-state tuition for several years. And I know because I blocked the bills. Wonderful. Thank you, Carrie.
I believe in our future.
Thanks for all of you who get involved in this. All of you who've been involved over the years in different aspects and issues. Stupid. It was a stupid ad. I'm going to talk a little bit how I voted, and I've posted some pictures before. I don't think I can post them with this pad. I can post them on. I'll probably need to post them on Facebook, but overall, I voted red. I voted to remove every Democrat or keep every Democrat from being in office. So that's forced Donald Trump and Mike Pence for president. I did look at some of the Libertarian candidate, Jo Jorgensen, but I think she's better than a lot of the other politicians that are out there. I would replace her with our rhino excuse of a governor in a heartbeat, but I don't think she has the record of reducing the size and scope of government. I believe she worked for like a humanitarian organization of some kind for several years, and she's gone around and spoke a lot. And I've listened to some of her stuff. And when talking in regards to illegal immigration, she doesn't think it's a problem at all. That is an absolute lie. She thinks that open borders are not a problem. I mean, I'm sorry, that's not the free market. That only leads to corruption. That breeds corruption. There's no such thing as open borders in a free market. No nation on earth has that. No successful constitutional republic that has economic freedom has open borders. It doesn't exist anywhere. And matter of fact, most successful constitutional republics that have free market systems, like Hong Kong before China took it over, Singapore, I think Peru has kind of become an economic success. Angola, I believe, has become an economic success. They have strict immigration policies. Angola, for instance, banned Islam. Hong Kong, they kick people out. There's the story of Chong Li, the actor, who had to swim his way to illegally sneak into Hong Kong. And here's a dirty little secret that people understand. Yes, there will always be illegal immigration, but when you have strict borders and strict immigration systems, most of the slackers have to leave and go back. Yeah, Alan, I mean, like I said, there are other parties. There was Kanye West, I think, is running for office. A lot of other people who I think could probably maybe start off in smaller positions. I really hope that some of the presidential candidates like Ben Carson should run for like a smaller position and then work their way up. And I really wish, I mean, that's how the Republican Party started with Abraham Lincoln. He didn't run for president every time. He ran for smaller seats. Sometimes he lost them. He lost more elections than he ran. But he ran for smaller positions and worked his way up and stayed consistent on an issue that mattered, which was back in his time, slavery. And that's another problem with the libertarians is for all their talk about we're better in taxes and we would we'd end the wars and we'd lessen the size and scope of government. Most of their actions are not involved in it. The Benton County Libertarians helped defeat a tax increase. There's a few Libertarians that'll help us in defeating other items. Arkansas Issue 1, which I'm going to talk about a little bit, the Libertarian Party, I'm glad they've gotten on board with that. And I kind of wish the National Libertarian Party would more focus on that, focus on the things that matter, which is reducing the size and scope of government, not just be all about legalizing cocaine and fentanyl and everything else and pretending like that's the most important thing. And I'm sorry, but they do. That's just what I've seen. Kung flu. Oh yes, I've had so many names for the virus here. The globalist germ, the Wuhan bioweapon. Speaking of which, Lord Shandong, Asa Hutchinson, he does updates online on Tuesdays and Fridays regarding the virus that he and his law firm and his and the Arkansas Chamber of Commerce and other globalists help bring to the U.S. into Arkansas. So I think on Friday at 1:30 he'll probably do another live stream update. And if he doesn't, I think he does it every Tuesday. He usually does it every day. And now he's, of course, he cut that back so he can cheerlead for Arkansas Issue 1. But I think every Tuesday and every Friday at 1:30 he does a broadcast. And I try to go on there and slam him. Speaking of which, there is an organization fighting against the COVID communist agenda that's being pushed on us, and it's called Reopen Arkansas. I urge you to join that group. A lot of you are probably on that group already, but if not, they're called Reopen Arkansas. There's Scott Gray is the head of that. They're part of the group that's filing the lawsuit in the Arkansas Supreme Court, gathering a bunch of legislatures so we can pass laws and get our freedom back. We need to have the South Dakota policy regarding this, which is keep everything open. As I said before, we have an Arkansas Department of Health that run around and attack mom and pop stores that will give the abortion clinic and political elitist gatherings like Wowpalooza a complete pass. So yeah, definitely need to hunt these folks down. Definitely need to get our freedoms back regarding this. Although I think a lot of the commie cough virus rhetoric is going to downplay and end after the election because their attempt to use that as a way to slander Trump and to blame Trump for all the deaths is backfiring. More and more people are realizing that it's their state and local officials that are screwing up on this and a lot of other issues, just like they instigated the BLM so-called race riots. By the way, they decided to time that because that came right, the George Floyd. I mean, usually these stupid thugs like George Floyd and the idiot that tried to stab the police in Philadelphia and other, thugs like this are killed by the police justifiably almost every day, almost every time it's justified. And all they did was hype this up and make this George Floyd bastard into some hero when he was just another thug who OD'd on fentanyl and was killed due to negligent homicide from Officer Derek Chauvin. And yes, Derek Chauvin should not have sat on his neck. He should have at least tried to introduce Narcan. So that's okay. Hey, Barbara Phillips. Oh, if y'all want to get up on camera and let me know what else is going on, feel free to do so. Let me see if I can bring up some events that are coming up here. But I'm going to go on to the next story, which I've hinted at before, which is Arkansas Issue 1. Issue 1 is a $293 million tax increase that was passed by the voters about 10 years ago as a means to fix the roads, with the promise that it would sunset in 2023. Now, apparently the lying, deceitful cowards that pushed for that law, and really the ones that backed it up, the Arkansas Department of Transportation, apparently started making plans and selling out all kinds of pet projects to city and county officials, probably a few years after they passed it, with the incentive that the tax would be made permanent. And what they're doing now with Arkansas Issue 1 would be making a 0.5% sales tax permanent to the Arkansas Constitution. And by the way, Issue 3 is designed to supposedly protect the Arkansas Constitution from being changed. But when they want to change it, it's perfectly okay, especially for a tax increase. And this is a tax increase. And all these ads by Asa Hutchinson and others claiming that it's not a tax increase are an absolute lie. It'll be making permanent a sales tax that was supposed to sunset. Oh. Now, I've been campaigning against Issue 1 for a while. I've been putting up door hangers. Matter of fact, I probably have some somewhere. I think maybe I ought to get them. I've been making some flyers that have more detail, and I've also done some ads. That's okay, Brad. Go ahead. Well, Alan, it's funny you should mention that. Our sales tax is around 9.5%. But when you add up the sales tax from city and county areas, we're actually second highest in the whole nation, even though we're one of the poorest states. So you're right on, Alan. And it affects poor people the most because sales tax people buy it for food. They buy it for equipment when their car breaks down, So it hurts people even more than even the income tax or the property tax. Which, I have my disagreements on those too. But the sales tax is one of the most anti-poor taxes around. And then that in and of itself is was wrong. And then what they're doing is they're giving it to a bureaucracy that only spends 10% of their budget on maintenance. The 90% of their multi-billion-dollar budget they're spending on stupid pet projects, more roads to nowhere, buildings and tech parks as donations to the University of Arkansas. I have a YouTube video of the arrogant bastard Scott Bennett, the director of the Arkansas Department of Transportation, bragging about it, trying to justify it. And so, I'm just looking at the radio there. The fact that he did that shows he doesn't. And by the way, he's no longer director for the moment. He's been looks like he's been temporarily removed. He's taken a hiatus. Merely, he's probably hiding. He's probably hiding with Josh Mahoney, that hapless Democrat that they tried to run against Tom Cotton, who I also voted for, by the way. And yes, I do like Ricky Harrington, his libertarian opponent. I think Ricky Harrington should run for city councilor or mayor of Pine Bluff, where I believe he's from. But again, I just think Tom Cotton, while I disagree with some of the things he's done, absolutely. Do I think these things, I wish he'd do things a little more like Ted Cruz? Yes, but I certainly like him enough to keep him in the U.S. Senate. I voted Republican pretty much down the line. The judges, I voted for Sean Johnson, Hugh Finkelstein, and Gary Robertson. And that's just my local area. And then for mayor of North Little Rock, I went ahead and voted for Debbie Ross. I don't particularly like any of the candidates. I think they're all probably part of that effort to raise taxes that we had here last time. But I think Debbie Ross is probably the lesser of four evils, so to speak. Tracy Steele's basically Black Lives Matter. I think he's a kind of a lesser version of Frank Scott Jr., but that's not saying much because Frank Scott Jr. is an idiot communist and a crook who has a drunk, kidnapping brother and a sexually harassing, angry bastard for a police chief in Keith Humphreys. And the other two issues I voted against. Issue 2 it should be called a term hiatus. It gives them 4 years off, but then all they have to do is run for office. And when they get political connections like they do, well, I'm worried is that there's plenty of good old boys that the Chamber of Commerce can just buy out, and it gives them more time in office. So it's not a term limit; it's a term hiatus, and again, it needs to be dealt with. It needs to be removed. Of course, now if they pass, and in issue 3 is the anti-ballot access initiative. It destroys, it eliminates the chance for conservative activists to put anything on the ballot. It's supposedly to stop the casinos from changing the Constitution, but it won't. All the casinos will do is hire more people, and they'll pay them for hotel rooms or room and board to live in those counties to gather signatures, and that's all they'll do. It won't stop David, what's his name, the guy who got these crooked casino things on the ballot. All it'll do is, like I said, keep conservative activists from putting things like term limits, real term limits, or any other type of ballot initiative reforms. It has some good things in it too. It makes it harder for the state legislature to amend the Constitution, or to put something on the ballot. And I think it does something regarding lawsuits before the election. And that's mainly because the coward Randy Zook of the Chamber of Commerce kept suing to block ballot initiatives, and then they kept, having back and forth lawsuits. And now I think issue 6, by the way, is on the ballot, but it won't count. It's the one regarding optometrists. So, but for nothing else, I think the Republicans are going to win overwhelmingly. I just heard a story where a Democrat was apparently now not eligible to be in the state representative position because some kind of federal crime he did several years ago. And there was an ongoing court battle. But I think it's Dave Mollett out of Arkansas Representative District 12, if I'm not mistaken. Matter of fact, let me see if I could find that story. I think it's kind of funny myself. the Arkansas Democrat Party has been falling apart every election. They've been losing more and more seats every time. As I said before, they had a jobless clown named Josh Mahoney try to run against Tom Cotton, and they didn't bother to background check him. And thanks to me and the lovely Rebecca, we and other activists, we were able to expose him for the fraud he was. And to be fair, I asked him, point blank, do you have a job? What are you doing? Real simple question. What kind of things have you done before? And he basically said he's never really had a real job. He's been like Hunter Biden. He was appointed to a bunch of going green energy organizations. Only, of course, unlike Hunter Biden got a lot more money and political connections. This guy didn't have any. And then there was some other stuff he did regarding campaign financing. I think he ran for previous office. And it ended up, but they kept him on the rolls until after filing was over, and then the Cotton campaign released information, and he was gone. So let me see if I can find that story, because I posted it. And then the guy running for office, where is he? I think his name was David Tollett or Tolle or something to that effect. Yeah, there he is. David Tolle. Mention me in a comment. Vote Tolle, State Representative District 12, which is Phillips County over in basically East Arkansas near Helena. I think there's a town there called Lexa, Arkansas. Well, of course, he's David Tolle, because I talked to him. He said that it is possibly being appealed to the Arkansas Supreme Court. So he's going to be acting like it's still campaigning, but it looks like the Democrats are probably going to lose another House seat, because this was a Democrat seat and the incumbent left, and so it became a new Democrat and a new Republican running for it. And I don't see where they're going to make any more gains anywhere else, but I just wanted to briefly mention that. But Arkansas State Representative Area District 12, David Tollett, Tollett. So if you know anybody in that area, just let them know. Hey, Heather. Hey, Maria. Heather, let me see here. Wish Little Rock would wake up. Oh, yes, I do too. Little Rock may have some riots, because there is an active BLM group here, and they sometimes like to trash stuff. And, of course, Frank Scott Jr., the coward he is, often lets them do what they want. Now, when they had their little George Floyd protest, they were allowed to. Frank Scott Jr. marched with them, along with our police chief, Little Rock Police Chief Keith Humphreys. But then they had a riot for about a day. I think they had a riot one night. But, of course, Asa Hutchinson doesn't want BLM to start stuff now, because he wants to make Arkansas look like it's still run by conservatives. So he sent in the National Guard to quell the riots. Not out of safety or concern of the people, but because, like I said, he doesn't want too many conservatives to wake up and realize how bad things are going in these cities. I don't know, Heather, do you know any people to vote for in Little Rock? Because I know they have some city council races there too. If you want to be on camera, let me know, by the way. Because I don't know. I just mentioned off, there's no, my city council is not up for, well, it is, but nobody ran against my city council person. But yeah, if you know anybody that's running there, let me know. Let me see. What else was I going to talk about? Oh, let me go in some events here. Vote against issue 1. Urge others to do the same. There's a website called nopermanenttax.com. Share that with others. Comment with others. Text others. But pretty much all of them are liberal. Yeah, that's been kind of the problem. That's kind of my problem here with Mayor North Little Rock race. Every once in a while, there'll be a few conservatives. I think there's maybe one or two conservatives there in the city council race, but yeah. Anyway, let me just go through some events and then I'll kind of close out. I got to get up early tomorrow. I'm actually going to this tomorrow. Thursday, tomorrow, October 29th at 5:30 p.m. for a Get Out the Vote family-friendly rally featuring former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee. It'll also be at the Benton Event Center. That's 17322 off of I-30 Benton, Arkansas. It's actually the crap. I forget. It's a hotel right near there. It's right near the cinema, and there's a whole bunch of other crap over there off of I-30. Just type in Benton Event Center in your maps thing, and it'll take you right to it. Nice big place. Doors open at 5:30. Event starts at 6:30. First 300 attendees will receive a copy of Governor Huckabee's new book, The Three C's That Make America Great: Christianity, Capitalism, Constitution. RSVP to A. Wells at arkansasgop.org. Reserve your spot. It says masks are required. What I'll probably do is dangle it around my chin. Food provided by John 3:16 Ministries. So, now here's the thing. I've had my disagreements with Mike Huckabee. I hated the fact that he helped bring the Mexican consulate to Little Rock. I don't like his ACES system. But he's 1,000 times better than the Democrats that we've had here. But that's an event I'm going to. I may campaign against issue 1 while I'm down there. I'm probably going to do some doors against issue 1 on the way, and then probably go in there and I'll campaign and hand out material to folks. Yeah, they have speaking events. Yeah, I'll go up there and say something. Also, Saturday, October 31st, at about 9:15 to about 2:30, there's a Cruising for Trump Part 2, MAGA Back the Blue car biker cruise in Ward-Nail Park, which is, I think, it's somewhere in northeast Arkansas, if I'm not mistaken. And I posted the link to this as well as so you can click on the Facebook link. So if you're around northeast Arkansas, maybe even Oklahoma or Missouri, West Oklahoma or South Missouri or Kansas, or you want to drive even further up there, they're having another Trump biker cruise thing, and you can have a car if you don't have a bike. We had a few motorcycles in our Trump parade of Lincoln County Republican Committee. I like Greg Henderson proceeding very well. Okay. Hey, Robert. So I've got this braced up onto a hold stand, and it blocks like the first comment, but when it scrolls up, it works. So anyway, it's a Facebook event, and you can find it if you want to join that. Let others know. Oh, shoot. I need to edit something. And then Saturday, October 31st at 2 p.m., there's a Arkansas Republican Party rally at Simmons Park, 2 p.m. That is not the contact information for that. Let me go down and get rid of that. That is something else. It's in Conway. And I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be doing Saturday. Weather's supposed to be nice. So I might go over there and visit that place and see. I might go down there and just hang out with folks and speak against issue 1. But other than that, I think that's about it. As I posted before, I have some social media links, alternatives to Lord Zuckerberg and the other 2 idiots that were on the Senate today who've been censoring us. Alan, yeah, you're probably right. Well, that's part of the problem is a lot of people are leaving the blue states, but they're taking their voting habits with them. And, of course, you still have an illegal alien problem. I think a large number of the illegals that came in here, several years ago are still here. That's why I wish Trump had done more than just build the wall, but blown the bridges. We do not need to be trading with the narco state of Mexico. But stay the course, get other people to get out and vote. Make sure people get out and vote. That they vote at least for Trump, for Cotton, and against issue 1. And this is kind of a counter to Leslie Rutledge, our Attorney General, who's stomping the grounds for issue 1. She said that she voted for Trump or Cotton, but that she also she's supporting this taxing to supposedly fix the roads, to actually enrich the cowardly Department of Transportation bureaucrats that have allowed our roads to fall apart. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Y'all have a great evening. Sleep well. I think the rain's supposed to be gone sometime tomorrow. Supposedly, it's a good idea to hunt deer after rain, but I'm going to be busy campaigning up until Election Day. Election watch parties haven't. I've heard of a few. I know a few that I probably could go to. I'm not quite sure which ones I want to go to quite yet. I think there's usually one at the Embassy Suites done every year. That's where I was the last time Trump won. And the pollsters got proven to